Hello and welcome to Saturday. Now, s- uh, I've been talking with a friend for a while now, and one of the things that they constantly bring up is that, the reason they're so knowledgeable in music is because they kind of listen to college radio because it allows them to hear some deep cuts. I remember I was talking about the quote unquote mother of the MP3, Suzanne Vega, who, if you don't know, has a wonderful, wonderful voice. Her track, Tom's Restaurant, no, Tom's Diner. Tom's Diner is the name of the track. Her track is Tom's Diner, and it is a fully a cappella song that is notable for being the song that the creator of the MP3, I forget his name, but he listened to the song to refine the creation of the MP3 file because whatever compression he was using, he wanted it to make her voice shine through. And it was a perfect song for this little technological advancement. So when my friend had not heard of this, well, he had heard the song, but the remix of it by band DNA, I believe. And he also heard another song off that album, which was Solitude Standing, and I believe he heard the song Luca, which is super cool, right? You don't hear songs like this, but you do, like, if you listen to weird and wild radio stations, you might. And, well, I finally today decided to take the plunge. And what a plunge it was. So I've heard of this website called Radio Garden for a while, and it allows you to look at pretty much any radio station nearby or around the world, and just if it has an internet stream, you're able to just click on a dot on a globe and immediately be listening to that radio station, which is super super cool. So I loaded up Radio Garden and I look around me, and might be common knowledge, but I live here on Long Island, and there are a few interesting radio stations around me. So I did a whole write up. I'll probably do a write up for the blog as well. But while I was browsing the radio stations, I found a few unique ones. There's one that does cybercrime that's further out on the island, which is really cool to see. Um, there is one that, well, yeah, there are a few on the island, but in NYC, New York City, the big city near me, there are like 170 radio stations there, which is super cool. Uh, but it makes it a bit hard to navigate. Some standout ones that I found were the Great American Songbook, which is classic traditional pop songs. So think songs that Frank Sinatra has done. Think hits from anywhere from between like the 20s to the 60s, around there. You'll have some American classics, some staples of that you'll hear covers over and over again. Wonderful, wonderful little what do you call it? Radio station. There's another one that's just dedicated to Christmas songs, which I found really neat, seeing as it's almost the end of February. Um, there's a station called Payphone Radio, which is a collection of phone calls and other sounds that come from NYC payphones. Again, super, super neat. Weird radio station, but people do some amazing things with radio, and I think it's just super cool. It's a side of audio that I've never really explored before, and I'm happy to dive in. So I kept looking, and I found a radio station hosted by Nassau Community College, one of the colleges nearby me, and one that was only a couple miles by my alma mater. I did have a partner who went there too, so whenever I would pick them up from classes, I'd swing by the college, and it was a fun time. So I tuned into that station. It was WHPC, and I gave it a listen today at around 10:45 in the morning, and they were playing some 70s and 80s music, And I was not prepared for what happened at 11 a.m., which was the full Irish block, where they just played Irish songs, like traditional, like Irish folk, not Irish folk songs, but like it felt very bagpipey and like it was something. It was unique and it was fun. But then at 12, Radio Rumble, hosted by Justin Greenberg, came on, and it was it was a lot of fun. He started talking about SNL and the history of that. There was a whole bit where he had a co-host on, and they went on for like 10 minutes talking about their favorite months, ranking them from like best month, from worst month to best month, and I was just I was kind of enthralled, and I've just been listening to this radio station all day. Um, it was super fun, and it made me realize that it's while typically I grew up with a professional radio environment in mind, we have morning talk shows. Elvis Duran in the morning was the big one that I always grew up listening to. But there are plenty of other radio stations, and this is one that's more on the amateur side, which means that one of the hosts during the I think it was like the surf rock, no, yacht rock. It was the yacht rock block. Um, it sounded like you could tell it was not as professional as it could be because the guy was moving his mic while not muted. Like as the song ended, you could hear the mic move around for him to talk. You could hear him kind of breathe, and it very much felt like he was reading off a script. And that's super cool because you don't hear that in modern radio. You don't, like, when you listen to whatever the popular station is playing the latest hits, you don't hear that. But then you tune to a radio station where you've never heard any of the music because the guy's girlfriend picked songs that sounded funny. Like, I don't know, it's super cool. And I'm happy to have given this a try because I'm falling for college radio. And this is a wonderful experience in the best way, and I can't wait to just keep listening because this might be the new way I kind of consume media. I've listened to whatever Spotify gives me, but after the whole talk about listening to pop music and listening to the radio over and over again a couple days ago, I feel like this is a perfect way to kind of break up that monotony with unique programming. And of course they have I think they call it the community mix or something like that, where they play the pop hits, having just different blocks where you have the deepest cuts of just obscure nonsense. With the block from 12, I think, to 12 to 2, maybe they just played the Jetsons and the Flintstones theme because why not? It's music, right? You can consume it. During the Irish block there were comedy skits. Like, you don't get that on pop radio. And just being able to have something kind of unique and something so fun is really cool. WHBC 90.3 is the station here in New York. Probably on Long Island you'll get it. Apparently it's an award-winning station, so you can get it on pretty much any modern platform. This also led me down a little rabbit hole where I found the quote-unquote best app for me and my needs to listen to radio on the go. WHBC has their own app on Apple and Android devices. It's not great, which is why I was led down a hole to find a bunch of different radio apps. So there's a couple that they advertise on the station. Of course, they advertise iHeartRadio and a few other ones. I tried out a few yesterday. I don't want to use iHeart because they're a mass media conglomerate that is in charge of nearly every radio station in the U.S., which I do not jive with because let's hear it for the indie creators. So I don't want to use that app. It also makes you sign in at it makes you make an account, which don't want to do. I found it. So I found a couple of others. There's two specifically. There's Simple Radio, which is just a radio tuner, but the big one that I found works for me is TuneIn. I've had a bad relationship with TuneIn before because, not necessarily bad, but there is a stigma I have towards it because my parents used to listen to a TuneIn station hosted by one of their friends over and over again, and every time it was hey smart device, play this station on TuneIn, and I was like kind of turned off by that, and I shouldn't be, because TuneIn is my radio service of choice now because it allows me to rewind live broadcast. Well, as long as I'm listening, I can scrub back a little bit, as I think maybe an hour or so, depending on for how long you're listening. And it's super, super cool that you're able to do that, because you should be able to do that. Unfortunately, no app really delivers what was the recently played. You have to go through the official WHPC app, or you can find it online, I believe. But I think the app is the best way to get a handle on that, because it just is. Yeah, but I've just been listening to that station all day. Currently, they're playing jazz, which is neat to hear. And I think up until tomorrow morning after the jazz block, they'll just be playing pop. So, a great way to expose myself to new to me music, because hearing hits from 100 years ago, really unique. Yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna call it for today. I had a lot of fun listening to college, my local college radio, and I will continue to explore other radio services as time moves on. It's a lot of fun, and hopefully this encourages you to give your local stations a listen. Check out Radio Garden, and if you're in your car, I'm very much the person who always connects my phone to Bluetooth in the car and spins that up. But if you're the kind of person who does that, try searching on Radio Garden and looking for a local station, setting your car to that, and making it easy. So if you're when you go into your car for the first time for the day, my mom's car starts on the radio before you turn it to Bluetooth or whatever. So just give it a try and set your car to start playing a local radio station or anything really. And if you're not jiving with it, then switch over to your phone or whatever streaming service you use. But I'm definitely the kind of person who will try to give college radio more of a listen, because it's fun, and I don't know, it's just something unique, and at least for me it's novel at the moment. We'll see what happens, but I've been enjoying it, so you might too. Okay, that's what we're gonna call it for today. So thank you all for watching. I hope to see you tomorrow, and until then,